In this short video, we'll have a look at how you can log your expenses in Rhino. All you've got to do is click on the expense button. It knows who you are. It enters in today's date by default. You then select your expense type. If VAT is enabled, then this field will appear. This is where you record any VAT that you paid on expenses. Otherwise, this will not be visible. But we enter in the amount we paid. Then we can enter some notes, and we can also just click on here and attach the receipt. Click Save. If we haven't attached a receipt, the system will prompt us or remind us and ask us, do you want to continue without it? That's our expense entered, and if we click back, we can now see the expense in the system. So we're ready to enter in another expense. So once again, we could click on the expense button to enter it, or we can actually click on here to see a list of all the expenses we have in June, and then we can just click add in here as well. And this time I'm going to add a different type of expense, mileage at 45p per mile. I'll enter in the number of miles, 74 miles, and this time by entering in the units, it uses the multiplier that was set up for that expense type to calculate the total cost of the expense. And this could be a visit to Birmingham. Note that it's not requiring me to attach a receipt because that's how this particular expense type was configured. And I just click on Save. So I've now got two expenses, and if I click back, the dashboard will show me the sum of all of those expenses. Let's look at a few more advanced features of the expenses. When you click Add an expense, if the projects feature was enabled, you can assign an expense to a project. And if the task feature was enabled underneath projects, you can actually assign expenses to individual tasks within a project. But apart from that, entering in expenses is straightforward. One thing to note is that if you record expenses on your telephone, when you click on this option, it'll give you the choice to load a document or to use the camera on your phone to take a photograph of the expense receipt. And all of that is stored within the system. So expenses within Rhino is very straightforward.